I have just watched the movie Nuremberg, a wonderful recounting of the Nuremberg trial and the horrors of the Second World War. I'll not be exploring the characters and the production as a whole, but rather explore my response to the themes which connect us to what is happening today. Perhaps that is a strange connection, given that we often see elements of the Nazi era as being an expression of the worst of humankind. Is it possible that we may see the re emergence of this era? Are there signs that we are heading down the same path and that we are not immune to the horrors of the past and the lessons which should have been learnt forgotten? Or as reminded of the character traits of narcissism and psychopathology embedded in powerful men who were able to persuade a nation that they were exceptional and that the enemy within needed to be eradicated. The deficits of a nation were identified as being any characteristic viewed by the political elite as a strain and stain on society. Religious affiliation, disability, and race were paramount and needed to be eliminated. To convince a nation that they were exceptional required a compliant and willing populace. This was achieved by eradicating crime, cleaning up cities, and creating an environment which appeared to be an improvement on what had been experienced after the humiliation of the defeat of the First World War. There was no need to question the political elite after the removal of any dissent. Corruption and the removal of those who were deemed undesirable were done in secret. No one noticed. No one cared. There are strong parallels with the emergence of the political right around the world, particularly in those nations where the right holds the lever of power. The United States offers the best warning that the lessons of the past have not been learned. We now live in a world where the need to covertly remove people deemed undesirable is no longer unnecessary. Demonizing people based on their religious beliefs and the colour of their skin and the country from which they came is the current formula which has been directly extracted from the Nazi playbook. The Trump administration and the adoption of Project 25 is the modern version of the Nazi or the far-right playbook. While blatantly obviously and dangerous, it is still being sold as the beginning of a new era which make America great again. Alluding to the dubious fact that the US needs to exist, a period of decline, and is now working towards a time of newfound greatness. This notion is akin to the rebuilding of Germany, even though it is difficult to understand the connection. However, the objective is the same. There is a need to convince the populace that the past achievements are meaningless and that the future offers a vision of the remaking of a nation, free of the pollution which can be viewed as anyone who is non-white and non-Christian. The remaking of the US is no different from the remaking of Germany, but now armed with tools that were not available in the 1930s. The megaphone of those who wish to reshape the US is broad and louder than it ever was. Resisting the noise is a challenge for those who oppose the clamour for recognition and space on the right of politics. Whether intentional or not, I left Nuremberg with the fear that the lessons have not been learned. Hopefully, we will never witness the bulldozers pushing hundreds of naked bodies into a pit because it was too difficult to identify them. Yet we are bombarded with images of Gaza and death and destruction caused by the very people who have suffered the same. We are witnessing the removal of people from the streets of the US without due process. We are being told that the press are fake news and that the sources of information we have relied on are no longer dependable. People of colour are now the enemy, and African countries are shit countries. Alliances which have taken 80 years to establish have no value, and that the most powerful nation on the planet has become hostile to the world. This is where we are. Maybe Nuremberg can remind us how the arrogance of the political class may eventually bring about our downfall.